Hi, this is Josh Tabor, one of the co-authors of Statistics and Probability with Applications. First, I'd like to thank you for considering our book for your school or district. I think you'll find it to be an excellent choice for your on-level or honors statistics course. And I wanted to give an introduction by telling you the story of SPA. The story started about 6 years ago when Darren Starnes and I were writing the third edition of SPA. We started by surveying the competition, and we found that nearly every book that was being used in high schools fell into one of three categories. The first category is simply a college textbook with no changes at all, nothing that was intended for a high school market. These books were clearly inappropriate for most high school students. The second type of book were AP statistics books or college level books that had some modifications. Usually they just trimmed off a chapter or two, trimmed off a section or two, or eliminated some of the hardest questions, but with no changes to the pedagogy. Again, not appropriate for most high school students. The third type of textbook was one that was very math heavy and statistics light. And although that might be comforting to some teachers and students, it wasn't really a statistics book. It was a math book that did a little bit of statistics. Again, not appropriate for a course called statistics. So what did we do? We set out to write a different book, a better book, a book written by high school teachers for high school students. When you open up SPA, you'll see that it's actually structured a lot like a math book, but written with high quality statistics. You'll see that it's 11 chapters, and each of those chapters is broken up into between, say, 6 and 8 daily lessons. Each of those daily lessons is intended to take 1 day, or maybe 2, depending on if there's an activity. Speaking of activities, SPA is full of activities, and not just any activities. These are activities that we do with our own students. They're classroom tested and shown to really increase conceptual understanding, as well as make statistics fun and interesting to the students. One of the most distinctive features of SPA is the tight alignment between learning targets, examples, and exercises. Each lesson typically starts with 3 learning targets. It's important that students know what they need to know, and we present that at the front of each lesson with the learning targets. Each learning target is tied to a specific example. In the example, we highlight the learning target by asking a question and then presenting a model student solution. That student solution is written in a special font, so when students are looking at their book, they'll know, hey, this is what I need to write so I can get full credit. To the side of the student solution, we often have what we call teacher talk boxes. Those are the kinds of hints and reminders that you would give a student if you were standing next to them as they were working the problem. Hey, don't forget to do this, or remember, it's always important to do that. Those sorts of things. We have 5 types of exercises in SPA, again, that are tightly aligned with the learning targets. The first type of exercise is what we call building concepts and skills. This is pretty basic reading comprehension level type of questions. That's great if you have students that are struggling a little bit or need to take a little bit more time working through the lessons. The main bulk of exercises are what we call mastering concepts and skills, and those exercises are very, very similar to the examples. In fact, they're linked to the examples so that if a student was struggling on one of these mastering concepts and skills exercises, it's linked back to the example so they can have something to look at as they're working through their own solution. The third type of exercise is what we call applying the concepts. This pulls together multiple learning targets in one context, or takes students and does something slightly different than what they've seen in the previous set. The fourth type of exercise, again, is great for differentiation. It's called extending the concepts. These are questions that go a little bit beyond some of the stuff that we've explicitly covered in the lesson. But if the students have been developing the statistical skills all along throughout the course, they have a good chance at these exercises. And finally, at the end, we have some recycle and review exercises. That is, we spiral back and look at key ideas from the past and key ideas that will help set up future lessons. Another thing that sets apart SPA from its competition is our amazing student and teacher resources. Your rep can go into greater depth, but in brief, for students, we have some amazing applets and lots of videos to help them understand examples and exercises and tech corners. For teachers, we have a wealth of resources, starting with the Annotated Teachers Edition, which gives great planning tips at the beginning of every chapter and lots of just as you needed advice on every page. We also have professional development videos aimed at teachers for every chapter. And thanks to our co-author Luke Wilcox and his colleague Lindsay Gallus, also known as the Stats Medics, we have 180 days of intro stats, that is, a daily blog post along with a lesson plan, an activity, and an answer key that's fully aligned with SPA 4E. Check it out in the Lessons Plans tab at statsmedic.com. One last message I'd just like to repeat as you're considering SPA, and that is that it was written by high school teachers for high school students. That's really important to us, and I think it should be important to you as well as you're considering our book. Thank you, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.